the 2019 World's Strongest Man and one of the strength world's most charismatic athletes. I don't want to say too much more, but a quick preview of today's episode. We discussed coming back from injury, when Martin's plans to compete again, how long he thinks his strongman career will last, what it was like filming a Geico commercial, setting Steinborn squat world records, and much, much more. We even came up with a new strongman event during this recording, so you don't want to miss out. I do want to take a moment to say we're incredibly thankful for this podcast. So if you haven't already, be sure to leave a rating and review of the Barman Podcast in your app of choice. Now let's get to it. Thanks so much for joining us today. I think this is the first time we've ever recorded with you, and it's a real pleasure. I gotta ask, how are you feeling? I know you just you were down in Colombia recently, getting a little bit of recovery work done. How's the body?
I am feeling pretty darn good. It's so difficult to determine how well the stem cells are working, because usually what I gauge my finger was how my body feels after the heavy. But certain things have gotten noticeably smoother and easier. Like my pistol squats used to be excruciating, and they are significantly less painful.
How often are you? I don't talk to a lot of 300 plus pound athletes who are regularly training pistol squats. So where does that kind of fall in your routine?
In one form or another. I don't always do full pistol squats. If I do full pistol squats, I'm supposed to do once a week. I do other stability exercises that very much so help and promote my pistol squat abilities, such as touchdown squats, hip airplanes, all sorts of hip mobilizations. A lot of stuff that I've gotten from Aaron Horschig from Squat University. He's helped me out significantly with just building up the stability and mobility of my hips and ankles, and just developing a deeper understanding on how to create strong, functional hips and legs in general.
Aaron is a friend of the podcast. We've had him on. He's written for the site. He is just about the best person you can go to if you're trying to.
I love him. Yeah, he is the man.
Well, how's the mind? What's your mental state right now, kind of heading into a new competition season? How are you feeling there?
I feel excited. I'm just so excited to get back in the game. I'm nervous because I'm nervous once I start lifting heavy. I hope I continue feeling as great as I feel now. So it's kind of like this, there's this conundrum where I'm like, I feel so good. What if I didn't compete again? I could just go on feeling great. But of course, that call to take on gravity and be one of the best yet again, it's overwhelming, and I need to go back and compete.
So you were at World's Strongest Man in November last year. We were working with World's Strongest Man, some media coverage, and you were a media personality. You were doing commentary, interviews, stealing people's protein shakes, messing up the whole thing. No, I'm absolutely kidding. I'm giving you ideas for pranks to pull. I wouldn't want to pull a prank on any of these competitors, but you are more than welcome, and you're probably faster than a lot of the guys. So you can just let people away. But
I'd love to.
What was it like being at the competition and not being a competitor? I mean, as the reigning champion, you took some time off for injury and to recover, but being kind of on the media side, is that something we might see you do after your competition career is over?
I would love to be more on the media side of strongman. Because my ultimate goal of strongman is to help grow the sport. More than I love being the best. Of course, I want to be yet again the game. It would bring me more joy than knowing that I played a big role in helping this sport grow.
Where do you think the sport has the most potential? As far as demographics, locations, things like that.
I think UK does it really well. Like with the enormous crowds and arenas, I think that's the way we need to go. We need to do that in the rest of the world. The United States needs to get over doing these competitions in the parking lots and actually put some money into advertising and putting this in arenas and making this like a real show, like the way they do in the UK.
The UK I mean, I've never been to one of the arena shows there, but always, obviously in the pre-COVID time, seeing the videos from it, it's super, super exciting. And obviously, the best way to get a crowd is to advertise a record event.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's true. And that's tough because, and I've seen a lot of shows trying to do this. Like, they keep saying, between Arnold's and Worlds and Dubai, everyone's trying to push these records. We athletes need a break from that because like, every single 3 or 4 months we're trying a world, push our bodies to a world record, and it definitely shortens our careers. So we got to find a balance here.
So, I got to talk about, I made a note to talk about this. My favorite record in all of strength sports, it's one you hold, it's the Steinborn squat. It's probably
thank you.
It's probably the only legitimate lift. It's the only legitimate test of strength. Let's be honest. Everything else is just poppycock. So, tell us about. I'm only half joking. Tell us a little bit about how you started training in that lift.
Well, the thing is, I was already training in such a way that to take on the Steinborn was very easy because a lot of my training for my squats has never been to push the maximum amount of weight. Frankly, I've never done 1 rep max squat in my training or in competition. I never see it in competition. So I train squats to supplement my strongman abilities. So I usually train squats to the point where I do a lot of pauses in as deep of a hole as I can, and then I try to explode out of that pause. Or I do high repetitions to work my work capacity. And I do a lot of pistol squats and stability work. So when I was offered the opportunity to bring the Steinborn back, the event was explained to me, and I was immediately kind of put it together in my head, like, oh, that should be no problem. I could see the biomechanics of it. I looked it up online, saw how it was done. There were no real videos of it, good videos of it at the time.
They didn't have iPhones.
Exactly. So I just saw the pictures, and then okay, this is basically just like getting into the deepest hole of a squat, having my thighs support me so my back is supported, and then just rocking the weight over and then just exploding out of essentially what's a paused squat. And I also train raw, with no equipment frequently in off season. Of course, when it comes down to competition, I throw on my SBD gear, SBD sleeves, and that helps me get the heaviest lift. So off season, I train with no gear, so I can get the most range in my motion. So I challenge myself as much as I can just to see what my body can do on its own. And the Steinborn is best done with very limited equipment, because the more equipment you have, the stiffer you are, the harder it is to get in those positions. So the Steinborn, no belts, and maybe knee sleeves at most.
So here's the question: does the Steinborn squat count if you don't yell stop at the end of it?
That personally, hold up that barbell long enough to yell that out and for it to count, because that shows control of the bar and it shows dominance.
If I were the ref, I wouldn't give you the down signal until I heard a loud
full Steinborn.
You have to just scream it at the top of your lungs. You talked a little bit about your training and the emphasis you're working on now. How do you think your training differs? And look, everyone's different, right? This isn't to say you train this way and literally everyone else trains the same but different. But how might your training differ from what we see from a lot of other top open category strongman competitors?
A lot of my training focuses, I'd say about 70% of my training focuses on work capacity, heavy work capacity and control. I like to be able to maximize my technique and ability to control my body and keep my spine without how exhausted I am. So that way, when push comes to shove in the competition, when I'm really just, running low on steam, I know that I've trained exhausted, I've trained with good technique exhausted, so I can still squeeze out those extra repetitions when necessary. Because truth be told, strongman is mostly work capacity. A lot of events will have like a 1 rep max, but the 80% of the competition is still work capacity.
If you were not in strongman, what might be a different strength sport you'd want to take